We're going back to Kanto. What is up, everyone? MunchingOrange here, and today we've got a special announcement because new Pokemon games have just been confirmed. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee are coming to the Nintendo Switch November this year, and they are not exactly the Pokemon games that we were all expecting, but I've had a little bit of time to process this announcement now, and I still can't believe these games are coming to the Switch. And they're actually not main series Pokemon games, as a tweet has confirmed that they're working on a main core series Pokemon game for 2019. So today we actually got the announcement of what are essentially two spin-off games, one of which is already out right now, Pokemon Quest, and I'm not going to talk too much about it because Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu have been confirmed. Now, I didn't really cover any leaks for these upcoming games this time around because I really wanted to surprise myself when they actually came out with the announcement, and oh boy was I surprised, as well as pretty much everyone else, because like I said, these games are not exactly what we were expecting. As much as they look like main series Pokemon games in these trailers, they're actually spin-offs, and they're a lot more integrated with Pokemon Go than at least I was expecting, even though the names do literally have Go in them, so kind of should have seen this coming. Start off with that little Switch snap, of course, and Pokemon Go is actually going to open up the trailer, just showing you how much of an influence Go has on these games. And we actually open up with a little real life segment. You know, you might have thought maybe they're bringing Pokemon to the real world, but it is the Switch game, don't get it wrong. We got Game Freak right there, and this cute little Pikachu jumping all over the house. There's the Switch itself, and he jumps into the screen to reveal this glorious new form of Red and of the Kanto region, a new Pokemon game, but not quite a new adventure. We have a reimagining of the Kanto region here, and you can already notice in all of these scenes, the main character always has Pikachu or Eevee by his side. They only show the girl with Eevee and the boy with Pikachu, but I'm assuming depending on which version you pick is the starter you get, so you can obviously pick a girl or a boy in whichever version. But yeah, we have a reimagining of the Kanto region, the very first one, the one that I'm sure holds the most nostalgia for people here on the Switch, and it looks just as amazing as the description sounds. We can spot a couple of familiar locations here like Pallet Town, Route 1, Viridian Forest, Vermilion City, you name it, it's Kanto, and it's in glorious 3D, much better than the 3DS could do it, that's for sure. And if you haven't noticed yet, they're going back to the more chibi, cartoony style of the Pokemon X and Y and the previous games, because I don't know if I was the only one, but I felt like in Sun and Moon they got a little bit too realistic with the 3D models, and I always preferred that more like cartoony chibi style because it more closely emulated the old school games. And now we have that possibly better than ever before here with some of our favorite characters, or I guess at least Red, as well as a new female character here. And moving on, we've got Professor Oak himself in a bunch of scenes really quick. Hold up. They made that go by so quick because they probably didn't want you to notice, but in one frame we see Professor Oak, and behind him there's a poster of a town map, and below it we see a brand new Pokemon. But I thought this was the Kanto region. What's going on? I actually don't have an answer for that, but it is a new Pokemon, at least not any silhouette I've ever seen before, and they did actually confirm that there will be a new Pokemon in this game introduced, possibly the first one of Generation 8, which are the games that we're getting in 2019, as confirmed by this tweet. There is a main series, or core Pokemon game as they're calling them, coming out that year, which will have all the mechanics that you're used to, and this of course is confirmed to be a spin-off, and it's got some really cool features on its own that I am really excited for, so let's keep rolling this trailer and see what some of those are. So of course it's on the Switch, so you play with one Joy-Con. Hold on, you play with literally one. You control it with the analog, and I guess your actions are with the actual buttons. But the more important addition of using the Joy-Con as a controller is that it has motion control. So of course you can literally throw the Pokeball with motion control, just like Pokemon Go. Well, I guess you swipe up. This time it's a little bit more actual motion, which I actually really like, but as you can see, it's the exact same circle from Pokemon Go. You even get the nice, great, excellent capture, showing you just how much influence Pokemon Go has had on these games. But I mean, Go is in the title of them. Let's go Pikachu and Eevee, so of course Pokemon Go is rooted deep into the systems of this game, it seems like, at least with catching. And in case you didn't notice, that's right, wild Pokemon are actually outside the grass. Like, you can see them in the overworld. You see a little Pidgey, a Rattata, and even a Weedle in the corner there of this patch of grass. And when you actually get into battle, if you didn't notice, you don't actually fight the Pokemon. You have slightly different options from your traditional Pokemon game. First of all, there's no fight option, so it's just you versus the wild Pokemon. You do have items and stuff, so I'm assuming you can make it easier to catch the Pokemon, or maybe so it doesn't move around, kind of like in Pokemon Go, you can use those berries. But yeah, there's no wild Pokemon battles, which is probably one of the biggest changes from the core series. And I'm not sure if I'm really a big fan of that. I would still like to, you know, train my Pokemon team. Like, I'm not even sure if there's actually going to be teams in this game, or if it's going to be solely focused on the catching elements. I mean, there are battles, which we're going to get into right now, but just not against wild Pokemon. So training feels like it's going to be a little bit different, and maybe the game will just be a lot more story focused. Anyway, let's get to the battling and possibly the most revolutionary change they could have ever brought to Pokemon. You can actually play co-op, something I've been dreaming of forever. Your friend can just pick up the Joy-Con, shake it as you can see in the trailer, and join in as the other player character. And that is just so amazing. I love the way that they're using the Switch, the fact that there's two controllers to literally help you do two players, because Pokemon has always been about connecting with others, and I can already tell having some friends over to play Pokemon. First of all, that's something I would have never thought of before, because Pokemon games aren't really like that. You don't just co-op. But with this game, it's totally different. It's a more fun co-op experience, it seems. Your friend can just join in. I don't know how it's gonna work as far as battling goes, because as you can see now, there is battling in the game, but like when your friend joins in and shakes in, you can see the character poofs into existence and doesn't have the Pikachu like your main character would on his shoulders. So I'm not exactly sure how that would work, what Pokemon they would get. For now, we get a look at Mount Moon, which is chock full of Pokemon. I love that, and I can't wait to see how they actually hide the rarer Pokemon in these games, because one thing that I've always kind of found weird about the Pokemon games, or I don't really like, is to find rare Pokemon, you essentially just have to keep running around at random in the grass, and there's like a 1% chance for some of them. But in this game, it feels like they're going to have much more opportunities to really hide the rare and special and legendary Pokemon tucked away in secret areas. Maybe like some trainers are blocking the way, or you need certain HMs or Pokemon to be able to progress and get to those rarer stuff. I just think they have a great opportunity to emphasize on the exploring side of things here, with the Pokemon actually all being in the overworld, and it just looks awesome. Like, this is what I've been waiting for so long. And sure, it's weird that it's coming in a spin-off game, but as far as visuals go, this is what I dreamed a Pokemon game on the Switch would look like. And even though it doesn't play exactly like a main core series, looks-wise, this is a 10 for me in every way right now. Now let's get into the battling. We can see Red and his friend running up the Nugget Bridge, and they actually show off battling in co-op as well, which is really cool. Looks like when your friend tags along, they literally just play along your journey, so every battle becomes a double battle then. And I really don't know what Pokemon they get assigned, because in the trailer we see you have Pikachu, of course, and your friend gets Bulbasaur, so maybe they get assigned a random starter or get to pick it. You really can't tell just based off this trailer, but it is cool that there are still at least some battles in the game and they didn't completely scrap that. Anyway, you can see the bug catcher in the battle. He's also got that more chibi kind of look, and I like it a lot because it does help differentiate that these are kids in comparison to like Professor Oak in the game, which doesn't look quite as cartoony and big-headed. So I don't know, I always loved that more cartoony style that the older Pokemon games had, at least in the overworld sprites and all that, and they're definitely translating that into 3D better than the 3DS Pokemon games ever could. But now let's get into the weird stuff, and that is the Pokemon Go integration, and there's quite a lot of it, aside from, of course, the catching mechanic, which is essentially taken exactly from Go. But we're also going to have a peripheral or accessory that you can buy with these games called the Pokeball Plus, and you're seeing it in action here. It essentially acts as a alternative controller, I guess, for the entire game. You can even see the kid use it to navigate through menus and stuff and trade Pokemon even. So, and I know it sounds just like the Pokemon Go Plus, which is also available, and it literally is because it's called the Pokeball Plus. And I don't know how I feel about this. It's a little bit extra. I mean, it's really cool that we have probably the closest thing to a real Pokeball we're ever gonna get, because you can literally use it to catch Pokemon in the game. But I just feel like maybe using the Joy-Con might be, you know, a little more practical. Still, I can't wait to spot people walking around with their Pokeball Plus. Just like when Pokemon Go first came out, it was so cool to just recognize someone playing the game and be able to talk to them about Pokemon. You know, it gave me, and I'm sure a lot of other Pokemon fans, an easy thing to talk to people about and just make some new friends you never would have thought you made. And they're also quite literally bridging the gap between the Pokemon Go players and the core series fan players here, because you've got all that nostalgia and the style of the main series games, but kind of the gameplay, I guess, of Pokemon Go. I don't really know how battling is going to work, like I said, because Pokemon Go has CP and all that, so gotta whip out the Switch right next to the phone because it's 2018, and if you're only looking at one screen at once, you're doing something wrong. But as you can see, you can transfer your Pokemon directly from Go into the game, and they apparently go into this thing called Go Park, so I don't know, like I said, if you'll actually be able to use these Pokemon from Go to battle in the game, or just interact with them in that Kanto 3D world, which would still be pretty awesome. I have a lot of really cool Pokemon that I've trained up in Go that I would love to see in an actual Pokemon game, and this is the closest thing we're gonna get. So like I said, they're trying to bridge that gap between the Go players and the main series players that definitely exists right now. And it is still a spin-off game, so I feel like they're not really being too invasive on the main series. We're still getting one in 2019, so I'm just really excited. This is basically an extra cherry on top of the cake that we're getting, I guess, in 2019. We're getting the cherries early this year. That's amazing. This game looks so dope, and even though the gameplay is kind of different, I can't wait to try out something fresh and something that honestly to me feels like what Pokemon might have envisioned from the start. Let's wrap this up though. Play your way, and we see a couple of clips of riding Pokemon, even flying on Charizard, and most important of all, Pokemon follow you. Ladies and gentlemen, sound the air horns. We finally got the feature that I've been asking for ever since I started doing Pokemon updates. Pokemon actually follow you in this game. It's not just Eevee and Pikachu on your character's hat or shoulder. We see Voltorb and Gengar, Nidoking and Nidoqueen, and even riding on a couple of different Pokemon, which I'm not really sure how it works. It could be the new way of using HMs, and I mean, he's just riding Onix around for fun, it looks like, honestly. So maybe you can just ride bigger Pokemon and the smaller ones follow you around. Either way, it's super cool to see these Pokemon all in the overworld, and especially the wild Pokemon. As you can see here, the cycling road that we're flying over has a little Ponyta chillin'. All sorts of other Pokemon that appear all throughout this trailer. Of course, mostly Kanto Pokemon, aside from that sneaky one that Professor Oak is hiding. Which, by the way, what do you guys think that Pokemon could be? Because, of course, one of the biggest things I have been kind of questioning about this game is, with them being based off Eevee and Pikachu, it feels like Eevee would be the no-brainer choice, with it having like 8 different evolutions you could go into compared to Pikachu going into Raichu. But I feel like with these games titles, you're probably not going to be able to evolve either one of them. Like, it's definitely going to be a much more story-focused game, I feel like. Maybe retelling the story of Kanto with some new elements and less focused on the training and team building aspect and more on catching and, like I said, reimagining that Kanto story. And if you thought Pokemon following us was the end of the fan service, nope, we got customization too. Not quite of our character this time around, but Pikachu and Eevee themselves can put on different outfits, and you can even see those outfits in action in battle, which is super dope because I've always been a sucker for character customization, and this time we get Pokemon customization, which is arguably just as cool, and it fits perfectly with Pikachu and Eevee because they're probably like the cutest, most marketable Pokemon ever. So yeah, as a kid, this was definitely a dream come true. Like, if this game had come out back when I was a kid, and I guess I had Ruby Sapphire, or I guess I can't compare because these are based on games that already exist, but as far as a reimagining goes, but also capturing it for all the new kids that I'm sure are going to be joining for the first time with this adventure. It just feels like such a fun, heart-filled game. Like, I can tell they put a lot of work into this, and it looks really good. Even though it's not exactly what we were expecting, I'm really hyped to get a breath of fresh air in the Pokemon series. And as I've mentioned many times, we're also getting a main core game, so if this game is actually successful and good, we could see a whole new spin-off be born from this, and then we can see other remakes of other regions in the same style. And I mean, at that point, it's like, how much money do you want from me, Game Freak? But it would be pretty awesome to see still eventually down the line. Who knows what could happen, but for now we got Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee confirmed. We're going back to Kanto in a way that we probably never imagined, and I am so excited for it. So let me know what you think of these games as the trailer ends off. Again, in IRL fashion, we got Eevee and Pikachu dashing off into the, not really sunset, but Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, and what's this? You'll meet a special Pokemon, huh? Available November 16th, so basically right around the corner. Like, I never have a watch. Why am I even looking at this? In like 6 months, we'll be able to play these games, and we already got Pokemon Quest available right now to hold us off until then. So 2 new Pokemon games announced tonight. That is insane. It is a good day to be a Pokemon fan, and I am really excited, as I've already stated many times. I hope you guys are as well. So anyway, that is going to do it. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Are you going to be picking these games up? And if so, which version? Pikachu or Eevee? Let me know. Even if you're not excited for these games, I am welcome to hearing all the opinions, because this is definitely something different, and I feel like there's going to be very drastically different opinions on these games. So let me know what you think down below, and stay tuned, because I'll be making more videos covering any news that comes out regarding these games or the next ones that are coming out very soon. So much announcements, I can't believe it, and I'm so excited, and I will catch you in the next one.